Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about another gaming laptop with an RTX series graphics card, and this one here is the ASUS ROG Strix Scar II GL504GW, meaning that this one has an RTX 2070 in it. You also get the GL504GV variant, which has the RTX 2060, but ours version is a 2070, so we're going to be talking about this one. And this one is the successor to last year's GTX Scar II with the GTX variant, as I already said, and let's see what's new with this one. The design of this laptop stays the same as last year's. There are literally no changes apart from the chassis, which appears to be hardened polycarbonate with some camouflage design. It retains the square box design with the LED light still visible when you close the lid. Also, this 15.6-inch laptop still maintains the small form factor and weighs about the same at 2.45 kgs. In terms of build, the outer lid is made of aluminum with the same brushed texture and the ROG logo on the side. The two-tone color, which we like, stays, and the gunmetal color makes it look kind of cool. The strip light at the front, as you can see here, the strip light at the front also stays, and I said it then, I'll say it again, it's kind of pointless to have this, but it's still there. This laptop has a great touch and feel and a good amount of heft to it. It's also a bit sturdier than before. There is slight amount of flex on the lid and non-existent on the chassis. There's dual air vents at the back and one on the side. So basically it's the same design as before with some very slight changes. Since the design and form factor has not changed, the ports stay the same as last generation too. 3 USB-A's, a USB-C without Thunderbolt 3, an HDMI 2.0, a mini display 1.2, Ethernet, an SD card slot, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. As for the internal connectivity, you get the Intel 802.11 AC Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 5.0. Again, same keyboard as last generations, a full-size ASUS ROG Aura RGB gaming keyboard. The number pad is a bit cramped and there are additional hotkeys for certain quick actions like before. Since this is the Scar line, we get the WASD keys highlighted, indicating that this one is for playing first-person shooters. The RGB is 4-zone lighting and it looks good too, even though individual key backlighting is preferred. The chiclet keyboard provides a good feedback. It has got that soft clicky feedback too, but some might find it a bit mushy for taste. You get 1.4mm key travel, which is ample for typing, and the keys are well spaced as well. Only thing is, the arrow keys layout is a bit off, and it is easy to confuse them with some numbers. But hey, at least they are not half-sized to fit in. Since the trackpad is the same as before too, there's not much to say in this regard. You get the Windows Precision drivers that tracks well and gestures are solid. There are dedicated hardware buttons which are clicky too, but of course, being a gaming laptop, you'll have a mouse plugged in most of the time anyway. In terms of display too, the laptop stays the same as before. A 15.6-inch Full HD IPS panel with a 144Hz refresh rate and 3 milliseconds of response time. Needless to say, this makes for a great gaming experience, especially for fast-paced games like first-person shooters, which this laptop is meant for. Bezels are also pretty slim around the top and the sides. The webcam is awkwardly placed at the bottom right, which was the case before too. The chin is a bit thick that sports the ASUS ROG logo, which seems a bit redundant to me. Apart from that, the display quality is nice. You get about 96% sRGB color space and the color accuracy is about 72% Adobe RGB, which is pretty much the same as last year as well. Brightness takes a slight hit as it peaks around 295 nits, so it is not usable in well-lit environments. Overall, the display can be considered great for gaming, but as for editing stuff, you can find quite a few other options. The performance side of things mostly stay the same as well. You still get the 8th Gen Intel i7-8750H processor with 16GB RAM, and needless to say, it flies through normal tasks and such. From something like about 50 tabs on your browser to video editing and rendering, it does its job. The major difference here is the RTX 2070 graphics card, and as much as I thought it would make a lot of difference, it doesn't. I mean, sure, you do get a lot of high performance and frame rates, but you're also paying for things like ray tracing and stuff, which is limited to a handful of games. And it was there on the Battlefield 5, which I played on this one, but that did not make a lot of difference for me to want it that much. I mean, the game does run pretty well. I got good frame rates up to 102, an average of about 76 frames per second on ultra settings with the ray tracing off. Turn that on and the frames drop to about 45, but the quality of the shadows in them were not enough for me to sacrifice my frame rates. So I'll stick to playing the game with the feature turned off. Nevertheless, other games run very fluidly on it. The fast screen really comes alive during games like Apex Legends. You get about 75 frames per second on average on highest settings, and I did enjoy playing that on it even though I really suck at it. Other games like PUBG run very smooth too. Games like CSGO can give you up to 130 frames per second on the highest settings. Now, if you think the frames I mentioned were a bit lower than expected, it is. It's because there's only a single channel RAM in it. And that's the only bad thing about this laptop. I mean, you get a 16 GB RAM on it, but the performance is bottlenecked by the single channel. Having a dual channel RAM can increase your performance by as much as 15% on average, and this one doesn't have it. You do get a second RAM slot, but then again you'll have to pay more to install an extra stick of RAM in it. You get a 512 GB SSD, and there is a hard disk drive slot as well, so no need to worry about storage, there's plenty to go around. Like the last gen, there's ASUS Armory Crate app to optimize your settings and user profiles, from where you can also customize the lightings and stuff and monitor your computer's vital data. I have a pretty mixed bag of feelings when it comes to thermals on this laptop. Its Hypercool Thermal Pro system with dual 12V fans does a good job of keeping the laptop cool. After quite an extensive period of gaming, the external temperature went to about 50 degrees on top of the keyboard deck, and I didn't notice any kind of throttling either. But the fans on this thing are very noisy, and I mean a lot. These fans get so loud to the point that they can easily subdue the sound from your speakers when on turbo mode. And sometimes they start running even on idle mode, so I don't know what to say about that. As for the juice, you have a 66 Wh battery, and because this is a gaming laptop, I had no expectations about it giving me much battery life anyway. And it did not disappoint. It gave me slightly above 3 hours of battery life on regular usage. So you definitely need to carry your charger around, which is a 230 watt unit and pretty heavy as well. So to sum it all up, the ASUS ROG Strix Scar II is still what it was, a great gaming machine. It still catches your eyes, has a fast screen, and the already good speakers have been improved slightly. However, all that changed is the gaming prowess, and most of it remains the same. But I'm not complaining though. It is meant to be a good gaming laptop, and it is, by all means. Gaming on it has been a good experience, and I feel like the RTX delivers, kinda. But the ray tracing stuff is not as exciting as it seems. Besides that, everything is good enough. Maybe a refreshed design would have been welcome, but this one is not bad either. You get this configuration for some $1,900 and about Rs 2,90,000 here in Nepal, and I feel like the price is a bit steep for the value it provides. I mean, a $250 increase in price from the GTX 1070 is asking a bit too much, especially when you have only a single stick of RAM. Maybe if you can stick another piece of RAM in it, then maybe this one is a good option as well. So that pretty much sums up our review of the ASUS ROG Strix Scar II. Thank you for watching. And also, do you think RTX laptops are worth buying? Do let us know. Namaste.